This will be my first comparison video in quite a while. It will be the builder grade toilet of the south versus the builder grade toilet of the north. So if you were to buy a house built in 2005 in either of those regions, they would probably have one of these two toilets, or maybe like a Briggs Ultima or something, but these seem to be the most common. So first, let's give the Vortens Vienna a flush. It's got a pretty good flush. The rinse lacks a little bit, but this one has a manufacturing defect. I probably should have gone with a different one, but knowing that it has that problem, we can look past it. Now, let's try the Mansfield Alto. It's got a pretty nice flush too. Personally, I like this flush better because it swirls and it's an older style. So now let's look at the tank parts. As far as tank parts go, I would definitely say Mansfield uses better tank parts because I've seen each of these last at least 30 years with no repairs. However, these handles break so easily. They are probably the worst part out of both these toilets combined. So as far as the Vortens goes, this one was manufactured in 2011, so it uses different tank parts than the earlier ones. But this is the one I have chosen for the video, so I will be grading it based on these parts. So these are your typical cheap tank parts, and it seems like Vortens switched their parts around quite a lot, while Mansfield has used the same parts, which is their own brand, probably since they've started existing. So definitely Mansfield wins with the tank parts. Now let's look at porcelain quality. Vortens had a recall for cracking, Mansfield did not. So Mansfield gets the win on porcelain. And as far as glaze goes, surprisingly, I'm going to give the win to the Vienna on that one because these have a really glossy, shiny glaze. It's very nice. If you've ever cleaned one of these up and restored it, you'd know that. And the Mansfield Alto, it's sort of cheap feeling. It gets rough a lot quicker than the Vortens. But enough of that. Let's move on to the tests. So no one requested any of these. I just based it off of the stuff that I did in the Cadet versus Compton video, and I added a couple of my own. So I guess let's try bottle caps. I don't know how many this is, but you can see the amount. Let's see if the Vienna can take this many bottle caps. Looks like it left about 4 of them behind. Yeah, that's 4. So I'm gonna pick them all up and try them in the Alto. I'm probably gonna give that one another flush just to see if there are any that I missed. That's not looking too good for the Vienna. So looks like there were only 4 in there, I hope. So now let's try this with the Alto. And we've got a little grass in there too. Well, I would say the Alto definitely wins that one. It only left 1, whereas the Vienna left 4. So I'm going to go ahead and give that another flush, get rid of that last cap there. So now let's try the washcloth and the grocery bag. Let's do the Vienna first. since the Alto is still filling. When I did the initial test video, it took this with no issues. So I'm going to try laying it flat. I think it helps a lot to have my phone set up on a tripod, because then I can use two hands to spread this stuff out. But I think I can manage with one. So I'm just going to do a best of 3 with this one. I'm going to do 3 flushes in the Vienna and 3 flushes in the Alto, see which one does better. But considering the Vienna actually took it once on a different video, I'm going to say if they clog 3 times in the Alto, then the Vienna gets the win. So I don't know what its problem is today, but it does not seem to want to take that dish towel or washcloth and grocery bag. So now let's try it in the Alto. That didn't do so well either. Let's try it again. That's a little sad. That actually got kind of far. But it's still clogged. I know I said I'd give the Vienna the win on this one, even if they all clogged, but I guess they're both tied, since even though the Vienna took it once, neither of them took it this time. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and I'll set up the next test. Now let's try a dye test. This isn't really a rinse test, since both the flushes will be able to cover all of these spots. I wish I had blue dye. It says it's supposed to, and there goes the cap. It says it's supposed to be blue, but it's actually purple. So I don't know why that is, but let's try the Vienna first. Looks like it did pretty well, except it left a little bit right around there. I think that's where the bad rim jet is. So now let's try the Alto. I don't know why this all suddenly changed color, but I'm going to give the Alto the win on that. I think it definitely did better. This next test will be soapy water. So I tried to dye it green, but I accidentally did purple instead of blue, so it's kind of brown. I'm going to use this as a stir stick, and I'm going to go ahead and mix up that soap. While it did leave some behind, it seemed to do all right. Passed in 2. Now, let's try the Alto. I'd say that did pretty equal to the Vienna. Exactly the same. They tie for that one. Now, let's try foam cubes. I did packing peanuts with the Cadet and Compton, but these foam cubes should do the trick. I'm going to soak them up in some water so they don't all float around. Four flushes. Now, let's try the Alto. And they're already soaked up with water. I think I'm going to have to stir these a little bit. I'm going to try a third flush before I touch anything. This does not seem to be doing anything. I think it's looking like the Vienna is going to win this one. Well, if I'm not mistaken, that was flush number 4. And this is all we've got to show for it. So that's not looking too good for the Alto. The Vienna already won this, but I'm just going to see if I can make it take them at all. It is failing this miserably. That's kind of sad. That was a bit more like it. It shouldn't have any issues taking this, and I'm going to do it on a half tank. So there you have it. The winner is the Vienna. So now I'm going to try 2 washcloths. Just your typical blue Walmart washcloths. That's a clog. Now let's try that again. That Vienna is going to take its time to fill, so I'm going to go ahead and plunge this and then try it in the Alto. That was 2 fails for the Vienna. Let's see if the Alto can do any better. For some reason the water didn't fill as high. That shouldn't really cause any trouble. I don't think any more water would have helped that. So I'm going to go ahead and try that again. I'm going to do best of 2 on this one. They'll tie if this fails. So tank's about full. Let's see if it can take 2 washcloths. The winner is neither of them. They both failed. So now let's try a couple balled up grocery bags, because why not? Let's do 2. I don't really have much faith in either of them. I don't think they made it. Took 2 flushes, but it got him through. Let's try the Alto. Looks like it got one of them through the first time. I'm going to make sure this is all cleared away from the end. With that one, they both took it in 2 flushes, but the Vienna did better, so I'm giving the win to the Vienna. Now let's try this dish towel thing. I kind of have a feeling the Vienna will take it. I'm going to wipe some of this dirt off first, even though my next test is going to be a very dirty one. So let's go ahead and see if it can take this dish towel. You know, a video like this is a lot more interesting when the toilets can actually take what I put in them. Like the Cadet and Compton, I was grading them based on how well they took the stuff rather than whether or not they actually took it. So that's a little disappointing for these two, but then again, this is from 2011 and that's from 2006. Those two were from 1960 and 1958. So let's try a second flush. Failed 2 out of 2. Now let's try the Alto. Maybe the Alto can do better for a change. I don't know if the Alto's actually done better at anything in this test. Looks like it got that further than the Vienna. I'm gonna wait for that to refill and try it again. The Alto seems to be taking it further, but it's still clogged. Come on. There we go. So, performance on both of these, I would give to the Vienna. I think the Vienna did ever so slightly better on the balled up bags, and it definitely did better on those foam cubes, while the Alto did better with the bottle caps. So I would say Vienna gets performance and Alto gets flush. So now let's try a pot of dirt. I need 2 hands for this. Let's try the Vienna first. Took it in 3. Now let's try the Alto. The Alto doesn't have a big stream of water coming up here, so that might cause a problem for it. However, it does have a swirl, and that seems to be helping. Honestly, I would give the Alto the win on that one. It seems like it had trouble taking it at first, but on the second flush it all kind of just slumped down and went through the opening, and the third flush was just cleaning up the dust. So I don't see anything floating around in there, and I see a little bit of sediment on the bottom of this one. So yeah, the Alto wins that. I'm gonna go ahead and do 4 paper towels each, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This is 4 individual paper towels, but they are all in one, so I guess it's really one large paper towel. Took that perfectly. I probably should have done 8. Now let's try that in the Alto. They both passed perfectly. So I'm probably going to kick myself after this video because I'm sure I forgot one of the tests. I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't remember. So anyway, I guess that about wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps my channel a lot and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video. That did not go how I wanted it to.